Hello, everybody, and welcome to another live video here on the Damage Report following the State of the Union, which was a speech. And things were said. We're going to fact check some of it. We did a little bit of this during our live coverage last night, but obviously, while you're trying to follow it, it's difficult to catch all of the things that Trump said. So I want to go through and cover just a few of the things that stood out for me as pretty messed up and dishonest. So we're going to be going through some of that. Thank you, everybody, for the actual birthday wishes. But unfortunately, they mean nothing to me now because the whole thing's just been killed over the past couple of months. You guys killed it. No, I'm kidding. Thank you. It's very nice of you. And as it says in the title, we're going to hang out a little bit afterward. We don't have as much time as I would have wished, and I do want to get through these, but I hope we can talk a little bit. Johnny Geezer. That's nice. Thanks, Gabby. That's a nice way to greet me for my birthday. So, look, let's talk about a few of the things that he said. One of the ones that I did mention last night was his claim that they are weaning people off of food stamps, which is not literally untrue. Like when you wean, a baby or whatever, or an animal or a puppy or whatever, you deny it the thing that it has, become accustomed to, in the best interest of it. That's not happening here, but they are being denied the food stamps. They cut funding for it. And so in the most recent round, by the way, this is not like all of the food stamp cuts or anything like that. This has been going on for a long time. They cut off funding for 700,000 people for nutritional assistance. So they've been weaned, I guess. They still need the food, but they're not going to get it. So that's a bit of nuance to his claim there. And to some extent, you have the cuts that have pushed people off of it. There are some people who have they were on it for a time and then willingly left it as their economic situation improved. But the thing was, the food stamp enrollment, the peak of that, at least the recent peak in the past few decades, was 2013. And the reason for that was all of the economic chaos coming from the Great Recession, people losing their jobs, losing their homes, all of that. You had more and more people going on food stamps for a couple of years after that. And then it began declining in 2014. And it has been going down as a result of that. Trump wasn't president until the beginning of 2017. That had already been happening. So, yes, to some extent, he added fuel to the fire of people leaving it, but only by forcing them to no longer be on it, whether they needed the assistance or not. So that's one for you. This is a really weird, Trump lies about consequential things, certainly. Thank you, Carol. I appreciate that. I think, David, thank you so much. Very nice of you. He lies about consequential things. He also just lies about unnecessary things. So he had this quote. He said, quote, "Before I came into office, if you showed up illegally on our southern border and were arrested, you were simply released and allowed into our country, never to be seen again. My administration has ended catch and release." So that there's two lies there. Thank you, Jim. Very nice of you. There's two lies there. One is that you would simply be released, never to be seen again. The idea that he wants you to believe is we catch people, we tell them, okay, we're going to let you go, but you have to come for your court date. And then they just all leave, and presumably they live here for the rest of their life. That's not the case. Depending on what source you go to, the people who did eventually come to their court dates on the aforementioned date was 91% or higher. It is simply untrue to say that these people were like, screw the system, I'm running. And by the way, last year when there was a big, at least temporary surge in migrants crossing the border, they did catch and release. Like, it wasn't talked about much because there was so much worse stuff going on in his immigration policy, but they did use it because it was necessary. They used it for the same reason the Obama administration used it. So both parts of that are inaccurate. There's some weird things where, how a lot of what Trump has done, even potentially running for president in the first place, is based on jealousy of Barack Obama and wanting to be better than him. So he said this: "Thanks to our bold regulatory reduction campaign, the United States has become the #1 producer of oil and natural gas anywhere in the world by far." So that is not untrue. I would say that whether it's true or untrue, it's awful. We shouldn't be trying to get every single lump of coal and every drop of oil and methane out of the ground. But let's be fair about the facts. It is true, but it's been true since before he was president. It actually happened under Barack Obama. We became the top producer of methane in 2009, petroleum 2013. Crude oil was in 2018. So if he were to just say that, it would be true. The whole statement is true, but it was true from before he became president, and he still has to claim that he is the one who deserves the honor of that, in the same way that he continually talks about passing Veterans' Choice when it passed back in 2014 before he was even president. I don't understand that sort of lying at all. Like, did you know one of the greatest honors of my career was starting the Damage Report. Before that, it was an honor to start Think Tank. But did you know that the greatest honor was when I started the Young Turks, like 20 years ago? No, it was already there. Like, just talk about the things you did, you weirdo. Thank you. Yeah, you know, it was me and Jank and Ben, mostly me, but Jank and Ben contributed a little bit. Thank you, Freddie. What a weirdo. Okay. Yeah, I started all at TYT. Most people don't know that, but it's true, or at the very least, it would be cool if it was true. Okay, so weird claims like this. In 8 years under the last administration, over 300,000 working age people dropped out of the workforce. Now, like, that's the sort of statement that it's difficult to understand what exactly he's claiming. He seems to be implying that for the working age population, which would be people who can conceivably have a job, you would say like 18 to 65 or something like that, that you look at that whole population and hundreds of thousands are just gone. But under the 8 years of Barack Obama's presidency, the labor force rose by 5.06 million. Maybe some people stopped working, but overall millions did. I don't understand what that claim is intended. The idea is bad stuff, people leaving, but millions of additional people were working. I don't even understand. And that's right after the Great Recession. It's during that initial period. So I don't even know what that claim is intended to get across. Thank you, Andrew. I will buy myself a beer. Okay. Let's see, what else? So there was his big claims about manufacturing, that all these factories closed down, and now under him, all these factories opened up. That is, again, a mix of truth and falsehood. Many manufacturing facilities and factories, thank you, Laurel, did close down under Barack Obama. That is part of a decades-long trend where our economic output is more and more focused on intellectual property, software, services, those sorts of things, and less manufacturing. That has nothing to do with any one president. It's just a natural trend in America. The ones that have opened up, though, the definition he's using is not factories. It's a very broad definition that can be very small places, small output, small employment, all of that. It's good that they're opening, but it's not a gigantic factory that's making lead pipes or something like that. And importantly, it is important that you understand that distinction, because what it means for those things to open up, he is confusing you about. Like, for instance, you might think that if we opened up a whole bunch, thank you, Amanda, very nice of you, and I'm not sure. You might think that if, after 60,000 factories have closed down and now he's opened 12,000 factories, well, then our manufacturing output, our literal factory output would be up, right? Well, it is, by 1.3%. It's not a huge reversal of the trend, because the things that are opening up are not actual replacements for the ones that have closed down over the past 50 or so years. Manufacturing jobs gains in 2018 were 260,000, which is fine. It's not huge, but it's fine. Last year, it was 46,000. That's nothing. Like, and so that gets across that, yes, some things are opening up, but they're not the large factories that were closing down. They have smaller levels of employment, smaller actual manufacturing output. And importantly, manufacturing jobs for the states of Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. These are the states that they always go to and say, we're going to turn this around. We're going to get our manufacturing base back off the ground. We're actually down last year. They lost net jobs in those states. So just like there is good news that he can focus on, but it's never enough for him. He's always going to have to stretch the truth or make things up, use vague language intended to confuse people. It's bizarre. Millennial Falcon says, rake the forest. Yeah, put people to work by raking forests, you know? Thank you, Dina. Very nice of you. It's also National Shower with a Friend Day. What are you trying to say? But thank you. Room says, please tell us all that Bernie is not being frauded out of primary votes. Look, the last couple of days have absolutely sucked. I have not seen anything credible that implies that the results, when we eventually get them, will not be 100% accurate. We can still be mad about the process, but nobody is claiming, including anyone affiliated with the Bernie campaign, that any votes are being changed, that the output is being manipulated, or anything like that. Thank you, Kim. Peter, very nice of you. Gina says, happy birthday. You were right about peeling the banana. There are two options of ringing the bell. Personalized and all notifications. Do all for live notifications. So I predicted that 6 years ago it was subscribe, hit the like button. Last year it was hit the bell. Eventually you're going to have to peel the banana. But yeah, make sure that you have the right sort of bell and also the right sort of banana. You don't want to get confused by some sort of digital plantain. MoseTube, thank you. Gabe, thank you very much. Okay, so what can you expect today on the show? Well, a few things. JR is going to be on the show, which means we checked, it's a JR Wednesday. Those are big news days. We also have this really bizarre story. We have a reporter coming on to talk about the rise of artificial influencers. So these are people with big social media followings. They're promoting products. People are like following them on Instagram. But they don't exist. They're not actual people. And there's a lot of dishonesty that's being presented about who these people actually are. But also, do you know who's returning to the show today? It'll be the triumphant return of the lavender sweater wearing Kenny Clips is going to be back on the show. He had a big story he broke yesterday about Border Patrol. He's going to be joining us to break that down. Ken. Yes. Thank you, Valerie. Sad acquittal day. Yeah, we're going to be talking about that a little bit too. Thank you, Amanda. So we're going to talk about Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, how they're going to vote. Thank you, Alexander. How they're going to vote. You'll be shocked to find out. Let's see. Adam Schiff facing death threats. And then I know that it's not worth it. I shouldn't go on about this, but last night at the State of the Union, the Rush Limbaugh getting the Medal of Freedom. And I know you know who he is, but I took a tour through his past. I was Googling far and wide. I just want to show you some of the things that he said over his career that he's being recognized for. His cultural contributions over the past few decades. So we're going to have a bunch of that, including a little bit of video, by the way. Thank you, Tortilla Soup. Very nice of you. Yes, I'm very excited for Kenny Clips to come back as well. I do have to run, though. Got to finish the prep. We got 10 minutes until the show. JR is going to be here, others as well. So you're definitely not going to miss it. Thank you, everybody, for the birthday wishes. You guys are absolutely awesome. And I look forward to tomorrow going back to birthday wishes. So thank you. See you in just a little bit.